I want to talk about something I call communication disconnects. And they happen to us as leaders all the time, but we don't always understand why they're happening. I want to take a few moments today, see if I can shed a little light on some of the more common things that can create communication disconnects. One I find has to do with clarity of messaging. In other words, we've encouraged or we desire something and we equate that to requiring something. And those are not the same thing. Just because I've encouraged something or I desire something doesn't mean that the person is receiving that as a requirement. I need to be very clear. If I have a position that I have expectations of something to be fulfilled in that position, I need to be very clear in my messaging that this is the requirements of this position. The reason that's important is because if it's not a requirement, that's interpreted as optional. And you know what? Many things can be optional, but it's important that you manage your own expectations with clear messaging. Encouraging, desiring, not the same as requiring. Make sure the people on your team or the people that you're leading understand what are the requirements. That type of clarity is essential. It's helpful, and it will help you avoid one of the more common communication disconnects. Another very common thing that I see, especially when we come together in meetings or on calls, however we're coming together, is that people often arrive with different mindsets. As a general rule, we as the leader, we've called the meeting. We have an agenda. There are things we want to accomplish. There are action items that need to be assigned. There are reports, updates. We need them. All of these things. We tend to show up in a practical mindset, as do most people who think that most meetings could be an email. They show up, let's get to it, let's get it done. However, you're going to sometimes encounter people who show up in an emotional mindset. They may be irritated. They may be upset about something. They could be something unrelated to work, or it could be something that happened on the way to work, something that happened in the office, a previous meeting perhaps. And they're a little bit on the emotional side coming in. Now, it doesn't have to be that they're angry. It could be that something great has just happened. They've just had a big win. They've hit a major milestone, and they're very excited, and they can't wait to share about it. That's another area of emotional mindset. And then you have some people who will show up in a social mindset. I want to talk, get to know. I miss the break room. We don't get to stand around the water cooler anymore. I've been isolated. I'm a remote worker. I just want to interact with humans. This happens more and more frequently today than maybe it has ever in the past. It is incumbent upon you as a leader to read that room, to discern what mindset has each person shown up in, and how do I transition them to the practical mindset that lets us accomplish the purpose of the meeting. Now, I think wise leaders will often build in a little time at the front. If you only have a certain amount of time for this call, maybe designating 5 minutes at the beginning. Maybe you say we start at 1, but you're not planning to really get started till like 1:05. That's just good planning ahead. It gives you time to read the room, and it gives you time to meet people where they are. It may be something as simple as, Bob, I noticed you just had a big win. That's great. How do we celebrate that with you? And let that emotion be acknowledged, and then you can begin to transition into the practical point of mindset for getting things done in this meeting. It may be if they've had a bad experience. Bob, I'm so sorry that you went through that. Thank you for showing up to the meeting. I'm sure that's weighing on you heavily. Sorry that that's happened to you, but thank you for coming to the meeting. And here's our next item we need to get to. Whatever. It does not have to be a giving up of the meeting to an emotional thing, but you do need to meet that person where they are and help them join you in the same mindset. Same is true with that person who's shown up with a social mindset. You might just start off and just preempt it. Hey, Sue, how's that Little League team? I hear you guys had a big win this weekend. Or How are your kids doing in their school studies right now? Or is your grandmother doing okay? I heard she was ill. Little social elements. Let that connection occur. This does not have to take a long time. It does take some forethought, but I can hear you. I can hear you. Bill, this is inefficient. This is so inefficient. I hear you. But isn't having a meeting when people are not connected, they're actually disconnected and aren't on the same mindset with you, is that effective? Yeah, I don't think so. Being preemptive, choosing, recognizing it's incumbent upon you as the leader to meet people where they are and help them move to where you need them to be in order for the purpose of the meeting to be accomplished. Practical mindsets usually where we get to for getting things done. But people come in emotionally, they come in socially. We have to help them transition so we can have effective communication. Now, it's a whole other side of the coin. If you as the leader show up in an emotional mindset, well, that's how your meeting's going to go. And if you show up in a social mindset, that's how your meeting's going to go. As long as you understand that you are the one who's going to set the temperature for the room. You're the one who will determine whether you have a communication disconnect or not, or whether you will lead and bring people together into a practical mindset to accomplish the purpose of your meeting.